For every sport where you see Wizkid, you'll be seeing a trace of Davido. Why? I think Davido has find his way in there. May not be true how excellent or how good he is in the music, but his money has paved that way for him to showcase himself on that same spot. And that was what Wizkid was hating as at that point. Now Whiskey doesn't really welcome that. He's doing all of those shit with his talent. He's also expecting Davido on the other hand to do similar things with his talent, but Davido is doing it with both the little talent he had and with the money he had, and this breeds a lot of competitions and unhealthy rivalry between these two guys. If you have been active on X recently, you can see how Wizkid is trolling Davido'S with a series of tweets and a lot of things going on internet right now. And you may be wondering that what's actually going on between Wizkid and Davido. Why is Wizkid always coming for Davido? And those are questions that so many people will be asking themselves, that where it all started from. Why, where, how? Like, who got it wrong? Who is right and who is wrong? No one actually knows who is right or wrong right now, but we all know that the both artists are not in good conditions. They are not in good terms. They are not friends, and we can't say what might happen next. But right now their relationship is not good at all. Well, in this video I want to take you down the memory lane through the genesis of Wizkid and Davido's beef in music industry. And to start with, the beef between Wizkid and Davido has a long and complex history. The beef is often fueled by fan rivalry and I think unhealthy industry competition between the two artists. And it all began in 2011. As we all know, 2011, the both artists were coming up, the both stars were coming up and were fighting for dominance. And as at that 2011, Wizkid has already hooked his fingers on the ground with his debut album Superstar, which has a lot of hit songs on that album. And I can tell you for free that as at that point, Wizkid becomes one artist that almost everybody was looking up to because of how talented this guy was and how good he was at what he does as at that point in time. Wizkid has been that great artist right from the beginning. As at that point, he has had hits like My Baby, has had hits like Don Doll, hits like Holla to Your Boy, and all of these hits were in his debut album, and it still remains one of the greatest debut album from any artist in Africa till today. And also Davido, on the other hand, were speedily coming up with hit songs like Davido'S. I think that was when Davido'S was trending, and both of them were just like that. As at that particular point, even Davido himself was actually looking up to Wizkid. Like, he has come out so many times to claim that, wow, Wizkid has been one of the artists that have inspired him. Wizkid has been one artist that have kept him on his toe, kept him working and such thing. But moving into the year 2012, in 2012, the beef escalated, in the sense that as of 2012, the both of them started fighting over industry dominance. And Wizkid was like, yo guy, I was a superstar, I am a superstar, you met me and look up to me, you can't come and drag a stage with me. And I think this thing is common to everybody as a human being. When you are on top and somebody that you saw on the ground is coming to fight the spot where you are with you, I think nobody will actually welcome that. But still, they start dragging dominance in the industry. Who is leading, who is not leading, who is the star, who is not the star, who is the first, who is not the first, who has more fans and who doesn't have more fans, and all of this becomes a fight and a battle between these two created artists from Nigeria. And at that time, Wizkid has established himself so well, and Davido also was trying to drag that spot with him. And one thing I noticed as at that time is this, as at that point, what project Wizkid the more was his talent. His talent has put him on a spot of like every possible spot as at that time. And Davido, on the other hand, I think he was building himself, and also the level of advert that Davido put into his craft has made him to appear on every spot where you see the Wizkid. Because now, for every spot where you see Wizkid, you'll be seeing a trace of Davido. Why? I think Davido has found his way in there. May not be true how excellent or how good he is in the music, but his money has paved that way for him to showcase himself on that same spot. And that was what Wizkid was hating as at that point. Now Wizkid doesn't really welcome that. He's doing all of those shit with his talent. He's also expecting Davido, on the other hand, to do similar things with his talent, but Davido is doing it with both the little talent he had and with the money he had, and this breeds a lot of competitions and unhealthy rivalries between these two guys. And down the line to in 2014, the beef also escalated, when Davido made a tweet. And let me read the tweet for you. The tweet that Davido made as at that point, he said, "Pulling half the crowd, I swear, lol." And many of the Wizkid fans started speculating that this tweet was actually directed at Wizkid, because as at that point, Wizkid just finished his major show in New York, United States, and Davido made that tweet, and people were like, why is he throwing a subtle on Wizkid? He's throwing a shade tweet on Wizkid because Wizkid just made a show in the US and all of the rest. And Wizkid, in response to that chat on his Instagram, he said, "Thank you so much, New York. Proper show, proper venue, boys talk, men walk." And boom, everywhere was on fire. So it's like this rivalry became so light in this in 2014 after this Wizkid New York show, and Wizkid have come out with full force to say that leave the boys to talk, let the men keep working. This is a proper venue, this is a proper show. It's also a subtle shade post against Davido, and so the rivalry continues. They both artists, Wizkid and Davido, started building their fan base. Their fan base started clashing, arguing who is the first, who is the last, who is better, who is the best, who has more accolades, who has more award, who has more certification, who has more recognition, who has more hit, who has more albums, who has so many things, and it becomes toxic to our industry. And I say that this rivalry is becoming and is still on till today. And fast forward to 2017. In 2017, the rivalry continues. When both of them drop an album, I think as at that 2017, Wizkid dropped an album titled "A Sound from the Other Side," and Davido, on the other hand, also dropped an album titled "A Good Time." And the fan base, on the other hand, started bragging, this album is better than this album is not better, this started arguing, all sort of rivalries, who has a better album, who has, and lot of things. The album brings so many fights, so many arguments, and so many rivalries between the two artists and their respective fan base. And to hit up the more, Davido came out and made a tweet. In that, along the line, Davido made a tweet, and the tweet let me read the tweet for you. The tweet says, "Pom pom sound and fan, boom." Fam took that one up again and said that Davido was actually referring to Wizkid. So why will he call Wizkid's style of music as pom pom sound? That was the meaning of pom pom sound. And in fact, Wizkid is actually better than Davido. Why would Davido come out and say Wizkid is making a pom pom sound style of music? And Wizkid responded indirectly in a series. Like, so many tweets come out from Wizkid as at that point, just as you are seeing now. He was not actually calling out Davido, but we all knows that they were just trying to throw a subtle shade of tweet against themselves. And Wizkid tweets, he said dumb, and started advising that instead of them to, up their game and catch up with him where he is, they are where they are, saying a lot of things, all sort of stuff like that, and lot of tweets was tweeted that time with by Wizkid. And that's how their rivalries continue. Same beef, Davido, as at that point there was a time that Wizkid even tagged Davido as and was a frog voice, and that led Davido to customize a I think a golden pendant, like a golden pendant carrying a frog head. That, okay, why would Wizkid come and tag him like he had a frog voice, and so he's proud of his frog voice? That, a lot of things actually went down that year. And until even as at that time, like even when as at that 2017, where they were just fighting themselves and having one issues or the other. And see that same 2017, there was this show they both have in Dubai. They call it Annual One African Music Festival. There was this point where Davido's aides and entourage and the Wizkid entourage collided at the backstage of that show, and it was like that altercation was so mad. So many things went down, like, and so on and so forth. The beef have been there right from the beginning of their careers, through their careers, and even up to now that we are talking, this beef continues, and even until recently. Aside from that, the rivalry dropped. Even when Davido was passing through hard times, when he lost his son and so many things, he now came up with his album in 20, like his Timeless album, and the Timeless album really did well, and comparison, rivalries, and argument kickstart again. And there was a time that Wizkid came out and started blasting Davido, because over the time when the 30 Bitches, which is Davido's fan base, were like throwing shades at Wizkid kept quiet. He kept on the low. He refused to answer any tweet. He refused to answer Instagram posts that was thrown against him. And up until recent, when he decided to come out with full force to attack Davido and start launching unnecessary subtle tweets, start launching insults and shading posts on Davido, calling Davido all sort of names, tagging him a froggido, and lot of names went down. And in that first fight in this 2024, I think Davido came out to replied him. Davido came out to clap back at Wizkid, calling him a size 7 singer, that he doesn't have a hit since 2021, calling him different. And I think he was referring that Wizkid had an album in 2020 made in Lagos, and in 2021, which is a deluxe version of the album, and the album really hit hard. And so many people felt that was the last time that Wizkid had a hit song in the industry, up until recently that we are not anticipating for the Murayo. And that was what the video used and say you don't have hit, a one hit man, one hit and ghosted. Lot of subtle tweets and all of those things started happening. And now when Wizkid was about to drop his single of his anticipated album, he started throwing shit at Davido again, insulting him, calling him out, calling his gang, calling his supporters, calling his crew members, calling out his songwriters, tagging Davido that Davido is not talented, Davido don't know how to sing, Davido don't know how to write songs. People write songs for Davido, that even people that wrote songs for Davido are not so perfect, they are not excellent at what they do, and a lot of things were just boiling down. And even when Wizkid finally dropped a track of the Moriah album that is set to drop in November, Piece of My Heart. They both met in Paris for a nightclub, and that is the current issues going on right now. They both met at Paris, and it happens that according to the story, they say Davido was sitting in the club before the arrival of Wizkid, and when Wizkid came in, he went to sit for a while and stood up and left the club. And so many videos were just flying that, oh, the Wizkid ran away from the club because the video was there, and they even and so many tweets. And Wizkid came out to say that why is the video people are videoing him up and down anywhere he goes, that why is the video looking for him, that whole lot of beef. And let me tell you one thing, this beef is not going to end anytime soon. Just accept it that way. The fight, the beef is going to be there. Who is more talented? I don't know. Who has more hit? I don't know. But the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, as a music industry observer, I love both of them to reconcile and have peace. But if they choose not to have peace, that is up to them. Anytime I heard they are fighting, or I know they are fighting, it really breaks my heart. But still, what can I do? I'm just an industry observer. Whatever it is, I pray up for them, peace up for two of them, and I hope for the day that this beef is finally going to end between these two giants in African music, Wizkid and Davido. So, peace up to 30 BGs and Wizkid FC. Peace up.